Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, before we start commence the program, and here are the following webinar protocol. For each participant ID, please use your real name following with your origin of institution. All of participants are expected to mute the audio and only unmute the video during the event. We cordially invite you to take your own firm and comfort seat in your own room, and please avoid the backlight. Make sure that you have a good and stable internet connection. If you have an earphone or headset, we recommend you to use it so that your voice can clearly and loudly to be heard. During the Q&A discussion session, all participants, please use the chat box to deliver the questions. Thank you for your cooperation and consideration.
Jam kerja sampai jam berapa, Bu?
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. How are you today? I hope that you are fine and healthy these days. And then thank you for joining our event today, Research Student Enrichment Program for Architecture, Urban Planning, Design, and Social Science stream. Or usually we call it by R2SEP. So before we start our agenda today, I will read out the important information to all attendees. First, please fill the attendance form on the provided link, which will be shared in the Zoom chat room by our committee. This link will be closed in 15 minutes. Second, please fill the feedback form, which will be shared in the Zoom chat room 15 minutes before the session ends, and it will be closed after 1 hour. Third, the attendance and feedback form are compulsory for these purposes. Attendance is mandatory for the new ITS master and doctoral students. Certificate of participation, which is eligible for international participants who have 60% of attendance or minimum 5 meetings. It is same for it, which is eligible for ITS undergraduate students. Participant who wish to ask question during the Q&A session, please send your question at the provided link in the Zoom chat room, or alternatively, you may raise your hand during the Q&A session to ask your question directly to the moderator and also the speaker. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Welcome to the Researcher and Research Student Enrichment Program for Architecture, Urban Planning, Design, and Social Sciences stream on today, Thursday, September 9, 2021. My name is Dewi from ITS Postgraduate Office, and I will be your Master of Ceremony for this session. Now, before we start the session, please allow me to inform you about our agenda today. First agenda is the opening by the MC, which will be continued by the introduction to the moderator and also the speaker. After that, we will get to the main agenda, the lecturer session, then followed by the Q&A session, and it will be ended with conclusion and closing. Again, I would like to remind you to fill your attendance form, shared through the provided link in the Zoom chat room, which will be closed in 15 minutes from now. Now, before we moving to the next agenda, please allow me to elaborate about today's lecture. So today's lecture theme in R2SEP for Architecture, Urban Planning, Design, and also Social Science streams is about presentation skill. which will be delivered by our speaker, Dr. Umi Naimah Sarai from University Malaysia Perlis and Mr. Banu Prasetyo MPhil from ITS, who will be the one conducting our today's session as our moderator. So let me introduce you to our moderator today. Our moderator today, Mr. Banu Prasetyo MPhil, is graduated from Bachelor of Philosophy from Gajah Mada University and also Master degree in Philosophy as well from Gajah Mada University. He is currently the lecturer and also researcher at Department of Development Studies of ITS, and he is also the staff for Regional Representative Board of Indonesia. His research interests are in philosophy and religion and culture. Sorry. Now, without further ado, let's proceed to the main agenda. To Mr. Banu Prasetyo MPhil as our moderator. The time is yours.
Right. Thank you, Ms. Dewi Sartika, to introduce myself. And then good afternoon, everyone. And first of all, before we begin, I would like to introduce our speaker today, the Honorable Dr. Umi Naimah Sarai, right? So I will read her profile. She got the Doctor of Philosophy Management at the University Utara Malaysia. And also she got the Master of Science Management at the University Utara Malaysia as well, and also the Bachelor of Human Resource Management at the University Utara Malaysia. And congratulations for your promotion on your promotion as an associate professor, Dr. Umi, right? And she is a senior lecturer, School of Business Innovation and Technopreneurship at UNIMEP. And also the research expertise in performance, OCB, justice leadership, career advancement, turnover, intention, entrepreneurial intention, and also in the topic of gender equality. All right. On this occasion, we have a presentation about our topic today, presentation skill. I think all of participants here are the postgraduate. So I think we all know about the presentation skill are essential to delivering our message, especially for researchers like us. But unfortunately, some of us didn't know how to make our presentation effective, attractive, and also interesting to attract the participant as well. So today we will learn with our speaker, with Associate Professor Dr. Umi, for mastering the skill of the presentation. So, all right, then I'll invite Dr. Umi to start the presentation today. Right, Dr. Umi, are you ready? Okay, the time is yours, Dr. Umi, please.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Banu, and also thank you, Ms. Yashinta and Dewi and all teams from ITS Surabaya. Okay, today it is my turn actually to share some of the information that hopefully it will add some value on your presentation skill. Okay, even though this is not the area of my research, but what I'm going to share with all of you today is just based on my readings and a few of my experience when I am engaged in the line of academic in UNIMEP. So for your information, in the previous year, I first joined in UNIMEP as the academic or administrative staff in 2002, and I'm doing my master and also PhD as a part-timer, And University Utara Malaysia actually is just nearby at my home, my residential area, and also it is also nearby to the University Malaysia Perlis. So that's why if you look at my affiliation, okay, and my education, I gained all of the certification from University Utara Malaysia. Okay, so not to further ado, I may start my presentation, okay. So developing presentation skill for postgraduate student as I trying to cope with what of the goal of our presentation today. Maybe most of us feel that this topic is just a leisure topic and there will be so many information or so many skills that have been introduced by the expertise in the area of communication, and through my observation, my own experience and my readings, okay, not my own empirical research. So I found that actually it can be gained. Okay, the most three common challenges is to master the three indicator that I will share later. So my name is Umi Naima binti Sarae. Okay, now my faculty is changed the name from school to Faculty of Applied and Human Sciences, and I am with this faculty since 2015. Okay, so means that from 2002 until 2014, I am the academic, I am the admin staff. So only starting from early January of 2015, I'm joined as the academic staff in University Malaysia Perlis. So today is the layout. This is the layout of my presentation. Okay, so we are going to look on the biggest challenge that all of the researcher need to overcome during the presentation. Okay, and also the 4 crucial steps in delivering a presentation. After that, we will look a bit on 20 ways to improve our presentation. And last but not least, I will share several tips for viva presentation. Okay, this is actually based on my own observation and experience. All right, so the first major topic, okay, the subtopic for today's presentation is about to giving a presentation, the biggest challenge. Okay, I got this quotation. After violent death, most people fear of giving a public presentation for more than anything else in life. Actually, there are some survey conducted by a National Institute of Mental Health. Okay, it shows that 75% of the whole population, they found that public presentation is the most, okay, fear that they need to encounter with. Okay, so the scientific word for fear of public presentation is glossophobia, and it comes from the Greek word, okay, glossa mean tongue and phobo mean dread or fear. So it means that we are fear on the way we need to deliver our speech or our presentation to the audience. So glossophobia affect both men and women equally, and numbers even though men are more have the tendency to cope with the fear more in a short duration of time. So public presentation anxiety is actually can be considered as one of the social anxiety disorder. This is according to the National Institutes of Mental Health. All right. So giving presentation is a skill that requires a great deal of preparation and practice. Okay, it is something that does not come naturally to most people. It is something that we are not of us are gifted in delivering the presentation, but it is something that can be learned through our experience, okay, and through our day-by-day observation and experience. And if we engage more in the presentation, of course, we can deal with it is more better. However, for those who are going to defend their proposal, of course, most of them will feel that that is the first stage that they didn't have any experience before that. But actually, it can be encountered with enough preparation and also practice before we go to the stage of viva voce presentation. So, as what I mentioned just now, many people are terrified at the thought of public presentation. Okay, yet a successful presentation is dependent on the speaker appearing. First and foremost, how to be calm. Okay, this is what I try to decide and combine and would like to deliver to all of you. First, to keep in calm, to gain the confidence and to be in control. Okay, to be calm, actually we need to not showing the feeling related to the anxiety, the nervous, or the anger, or any strong emotion. And then during the presentation, we need to gain the confidence. So this means that we need to showing and feeling the certainty about the matters or something that we would like to share with the audience or the panelists. And also the last one, in control. Okay, this is to make sure we are able to direct a situation, person, or ability, and how this can be gained. Okay, so I will give a few tips to ensure that we can successfully deliver our presentation, okay, by putting all of these combination together to become confident and in control throughout the presentation. All right, to become and to retain control, to retain confidence and to be in control. So how then one can navigate these challenges and avoid getting flustered in front of audience? All right, so we go to the next slide. Okay, even with extensive preparation, the unforeseen challenges can arise, quickly derailing a presentation and throwing the presenter off their game. Even though this is not something that can be 100% controlled by us, but actually there are some tips and some techniques that we can try to minimize the unforeseen challenges. All right, so now let's take a look at some of the most common challenges that presenters face and how to overcome them in order to deliver a successful presentation. So first and foremost, all right, suffer from pre-presentation anxiety. I believe that most of us, if they still have a lack of experience in delivering the presentation, especially for the postgraduate candidates, okay, postgrad candidates either in the level of master or PhD, the anxiety is the main enemy that we need to encounter. And how we can try to avoid this feeling is by doing enough preparation that I will share later. Okay, so we need to ensure that we need to put this anxiety away from ourselves. Okay, and then also don't know which content to put on your slide. This is also will create the most challenge to most of the presenter and forgetting what to say next. And this can be encountered by having a clue card or the text, all right? So it depends on our convenience or our comfort, which way that can make us more comfortable, and also a poor body language during the presentation. But since now, we need to focus more on the presentation during the viva or the proposal defense, right? So poor body language means that you need to show that you are full of energy and enthusiasm. Okay, so failure to engage the audience, this can be happen when sometimes you are losing your word to respond to the examiner or panelist and not interacting with the audience. Okay, these are most challenges people have in giving presentation. Okay, this is the second sub-theme of today's presentation. Okay, the 4 crucial steps in giving presentation. Okay, this is a must. I call it as 4P. Although most of the marketing students, they refer 4P to another concept like product, promotion, price, and what the last one? Price, promotion, product, and maybe presentation. Okay, so in today's presentation, the 4P refers to another things that we need to do. Okay, we need to prepare. So are you concerned that good preparation is the key to become, okay, the 3 key terms, to become, to be confident, and to be in control, because this is the key that you being relaxed and successful during the presentation. So prepare, which means you plan it first, and after that practice it, and present by focusing on what you can give rather than what people will think of you. Actually, it will start with the planning, preparing, practicing, and presenting. So this 4P actually is the 4 crucial steps that all of us need to engage with before we can keep calm, confident, and in control during our presentation, especially during the viva voce or the proposal defense presentation. So we go next. Okay, there are the planning, the preparing, the practicing, and also presenting. All right, we go to the first phase that I call it as planning. Okay, planning, get to know about your topic, audience, purpose, duration, venue, and drafting and outline before planning a structure for your presentation. In the planning stage, actually, we try using our creativity in order to sort the information in sequence and in the good flow. So actually, we need to know who will be our audience, okay, why they are there. But this is for the presentation that involve with another stage that not only with the proposal, defense presentation or the viva voce, okay? So why they are there, okay? What is the goal or purpose? How long it will be and where will it place? Either it is will conducted remotely or physically, you need to go to that room or that hall. Okay, for example, who is your audience? For the postgraduate student or candidates, they need to know about the full name of the panelists, okay, who will be in the committee, including the chairperson, the examiner, and also maybe the representative of the faculty. So why they are there, actually, they need to evaluate your presentation. And in my case today, I just would like to be here to share some of the information in my own perspective on how you can develop or enhance your presentation skill and try to avoid the anxiety. Okay, what is your goal or purpose? Okay, as for me today, I just would like to leave you all later if you can remember about the 3 important things to become confident and in control. Okay, this is my purpose actually. And as a presenter, you also need to know how long it will be. Therefore, you will have enough time to practice, okay, to make sure that you can make your presentation on time, okay? And it is also important to know where will it be the place, okay? Because nowadays, if we look in the Malaysia, most of the presentation, even for the viva voce have been done remotely. So maybe we need to know and try to our best to make sure that the session will run smooth, okay? Maybe if the remotely, we need to ensure that our data, our coverage is good. We have the technical assistant if we some issue occurred and some sort. Okay, this is all in the planning stage, okay? The 4 crucial stage. So this is the first step that we need to do. Okay, if your audience could remember on the 3 things about your presentation, what would you want it to be? Okay, some of the presentation, if we go and have one-off program, sometimes we remember the presenter themselves. Okay, the way they deliver the presentation, maybe because of their appearance or their look, okay? And maybe because we want them to remember about the content. Okay, the content of the presentation, and also your presentation or the medium that you utilize during your presentation. Okay, I just would like to share about me. Actually, if people ask me, I want all of the audience have some memories to remember me as the presenter of today. Okay, so I would like to try my best to let you can remember about the 3 key terms, about the calm, about the confident, and about the in control, and also about the platform that I use for my presentation. That's why, since this is only, as for me, may categorize as the leisure kind of presentation, okay, even though most of us know about the presentation skill, we'll read a lot about this. So I would like you to at least remember my presentation on the way I use the medium for my slide. If you notice, I put my slide in a wedding theme, which maybe some of the presenter, they try to avoid using this kind of theme and would like to go for the formal kind of presentation slide. So if people ask me, I would like to try my best to make sure that these 3 combinations can let you at least remember about the important key terms by the time we end our programs for today. Okay, so in the planning stage, still in the planning stage, okay, we need to think about what are the flow of our presentation, okay, how we are going to bring the presentation. So it will start with no PowerPoint, but for most of the students or researcher, of course, when we talk about presentation, what need to be in their mind is to engage or deliver their chapter 1 until chapter 5, right? Chapter 1, Introduction. Chapter 2, Literature Review. Chapter 3, Research Method. Chapter 4, Analysis. And Chapter 5, the conclusion. This is a must. But we need to draft it very clearly to make sure that only the important point is highlighted on the presentation slide. Because most of students have the tendency to put everything in a slide. So actually, this also happened to me. Okay, by the time I am a PhD student, by that time, my first presentation, my supervisor asked me to go to Singapore and present my first research. So I also have the tendency to put everything on my slide. This is why, because I think if I forget to elaborate the word, so it is stated in my slide, I just go and read line by line. So actually this is normal, and I think this only can be overcome when we have a lot of practice, okay, and also experience. So in planning stage, it is like film with no script. We need to think and plan about what are the important points that we would like to highlight in our presentation slide. And also we need to order your thought in sequence to make sure that the reader or the examiner can easily understand on the information that we would like to deliver to them. And also we need to be very careful on the usage of the important key points in delivering our presentation. Okay, we go next. Okay, as for today's presentation, okay, what will the topic be unfamiliar? Okay, for the research student, actually, if you already have your examiner, the topic is very familiar to them. Okay, that's why they are hired to be the panel of your viva voce. They are the expert in that field. Therefore, there is not a topic that may not unfamiliar for them. And in my case today, when I got the title of presentation skills, so this is also will be fine, because when we think about presentation skill, all of us may have some sort of information regarding the skill, but sometimes we know about the skill, but it will take time for us to master the skill. Okay, are there complex concept to explain? Okay, this is also happen. And during the presentation, we are trying to use the simple, okay, or the simple explanation or key concept, and try to avoid to use the bombastic word, all right? And is there a lot of data to present? Of course, for viva voce presenters, data need to be provided, especially in chapter 1. Okay, in chapter 1, by the time you are highlighting the issue of your research, you need to provide your data. Okay, the data normally should be presented in the form of graph, okay, because it may better. Okay, and then you can explain by using a statement. So in chapter 4, again, you need to provide your data in the form of graph, and you might be tempted to put everything you know in a slide. This is something that we need to avoid. We just put the important thing, all right? And by the time we look at the important thing, actually we can elaborate that things, because we already have the good practice stages, okay, before we go to the actual presentation. Okay, here is about the planning in prepare of the presentation slide. Okay, so developing the presentation structure. As for me, we can group it into 3 stages. The first one is the introduction part, to get the attention in the literature. For the postgraduate student, you need to highlight on the introduction by putting about the main issue that you would like to highlight and solve in your research or study. So you need to have a very sound structure, and after that you have to get a very clear structure. Okay, in order to develop a presentation structure, it will be consisted of introduction, content, and also conclusion. You need to make it sound and clear. To make it sound means that you need to provide a very logic, valid, and reliable statement. And after that, you need to support it with a very clear citation and also a very readable form that can ensure that the information that you would like to share can be easily understood by the panelists or the examiner. And as for the introduction, actually, most of the postgraduate researcher or candidates, they may fail to provide the main issue in the form of statement or in the graph. Okay, in the graph, maybe they need to find any data or statistic in the introduction part. And after that, when they're trying to do a wrap up or conclusion in chapter 5, it doesn't reflect on the main issue that they highlight in the chapter 1. So this is something that need to be very careful, because we only conduct a research if there is a problem or issue that we would like to encounter or to solve. Okay, sometimes students in chapter 1, they already have a very clear issue, a very clear data and statistic to support that issue. But by the time they do everything, go to the literature review, research, analysis, at the end, they fail to encounter on the issue that they highlight or stated by the time they open their mouth in the presentation. Okay, time. All right, so we go next. Create audience interest in developing the presentation structure. So we need to open gaps before we close them. Okay, open the gaps is we need to identify the main issue, and the gap actually can be stated or identified in the section of problem statement, right? We put all of the gap in our problem statement section in chapter 1. Then our tendency is to tell people the fact. First, they must realize that they need this fact. Okay, and this is actually applicable to the presentation that not involved with the viva voce presentation. I got this quote from someone that I forget to put the name here. So as for me, actually, during my presentation today, I would like you to just remember about these 3 things: calm, confident, and in control. All right, so I try to inject some interest for the postgraduate researcher, where I would like to put or list some of the tips during your viva voce presentation. So that is my strategy, okay, actually, to trying to make or to make your interest, and you will stick to my presentation until the end of this program. Okay, we go to the next slide. In planning our presentation, actually, we are trying to put the, again, introduction, the content, okay, and also to make a conclusion. As for the research student, okay, there will be 5 layout of research, chapter 1 until chapter 5, right? So normally 30 pages is the maximum for you to deliver your presentation. I guess 20 pages is enough for you, that you also have the time frame in order to deliver your viva voce presentation. Okay, normally in Malaysia, sometimes the candidates will be given about 20 to 30 minutes to deliver their presentation, and I guess 20 to 30 slides is more than enough. So the 30 slide is the maximum. If you can present 1 minute for 1 slide, all right? If you can manage to make it in 20 slide, it is much better. Because actually everything, all of the panel, they already go and have the details of your presentation based on the report that you submitted. Okay, you just give the presentation in order to convince them regarding what you have stated in details in your presentation by simplify all of the information in the slide. Okay, now we go to the preparing stage, the second stage, okay, the second step. Preparing the whole content of your presentation by utilizing the relevant presenter body. Okay, presenter body, first and foremost, physical or online presentation. You need to know about this first. You need to deal with the secretariat. Okay, in Unimap, actually, nowadays, we did have a hybrid presentation for viva voce. If the candidates come from the red zone, so they will be allowed to do the presentation online. But in another panel, they will come together and sit at the venue, okay, the viva voce venue. So it is depend. So you can have your personal notes or cue cards to help you if you lose some of the words, okay. And also you need to have a very good visual aids, media and handout. Sometime before you you deliver the presentation, by my time, actually, I am from UUM, right? I did my study in UUM. So it depends on your supervisor as well. Sometimes the supervisor asks us to print the handout and give to the panel. But some of the supervisor, they don't want us to print the handout to deliver to the examiner or the panel during the time. So it depends, because maybe the supervisor have noticed about something that if you already give the handout, okay, to the panelists, maybe your supervisor already spot the error that you make in that handout. So by the time you are presenting, more what we call it, more error will be found by the examiner. But as for me, it is okay. It is okay for you to share the handout to the examiner, as long as if you notice about the error, you are the one who need to apologize and make the correction first before it can be identified by the panelists. And also, if you need to do the presentation remotely, you need to have some of your friends or colleague to do the technical assistant for you, because sometimes there will be the disruption, okay, during the presentation if you have not good enough coverage or data by that time. And drinking water is not necessary for you, but some of the panel, they do allow for students to drink or bring their water to avoid their stress or the anxiety during the presentation. Okay, the next one. Preparing the introduction, content, and conclusion of your presentation. Okay, in order to do the preparation, okay, that engage with the information, introduction, content, and conclusion, we need to inject these three main key term: information, colors, and image. Okay, we need to play with these three indicator in order to make our presentation slide better. All right. So information, search for relevant information for the content of your presentation. But for most of the PhD candidates, of course, all of your statement need to be supported by providing the citation or the sources of reference. Okay. If not, it seems that you are the one who declare that statement. So you need to put the citation or acknowledge the author. And also the use of color, because color evokes feeling. That's why in my presentation today, I try to move a bit from the ordinary one and try to put all of my slide in the wedding theme. But as for the postgrad student, okay, the postgrad candidates, normally don't try to put many kind of color. Just if you have 2 or 3 color, that is enough. Because okay, but please make sure that the background that you use is contradict with the text that you use in your presentation slide. Okay, study shows that color usage can increase interest and improve learning comprehension and retention. But as for mine, okay, this kind of slide is not applicable or appropriate to be used during your viva voce presentation. Okay, so please also use the high quality image. Okay, by the time you are providing the graph, okay, please make sure that all of the font and the figure that you projected is readable, because some of the students, they might put a very small font in that slide. So it is something can create another mood to the examiner. All right. So please make sure that you use a high quality image if you are going to put any image in your slide, because use image to support your point, use a consistent theme, and image reveal large amount of data. So remember, use an image instead of long text. Okay, later, this is a kind of bar chart or tables that you can use in simplify the data. Okay. Maybe you can use this in your chapter 4, right? Chapter 4 normally will be presented by utilizing the graph, okay, for the data that you gain for your study. You can make it in pie chart, okay, bar chart, or also table, but make it consistent, all right? And I would like to advise you, by the time you have your chart on slide, please remember about how to elaborate that chart by using a verbal or the oral one. Don't put all of the information in the long text. Just put the table and you elaborate from that table. Okay. The next one, something to avoid, very important thing to avoid is tempted to put everything information you know in a slide. Because when we trying to put more information, sometimes we may put the inaccurate information. So it will create more platform for the panelists to find out our error, and that will be something that can what we call it, can give some negative impact to your presentation. So just put the important things in your presentation slide. Just highlight the important one, okay? And another one, you just elaborate by using your verbal, okay, your oral presentation. Because too much information will lead to the burden of information. Now let me share this slide. Okay, if you look at the left side, okay, we can categorize this as the post slide. If you look at this, start from overall, our finding provide a combined retention rates of 92.4% until 51% of college students leave college because of lack of effective support. So it may be better for you to just put all of this information, you simplify it by using this graph on the right side. So this is the good slide. So everything that you want to explain, just elaborate it, okay? But in the slide, to make it very simple, okay? Because it will attract more to the panelists, and at the same time, by the time you provide your explaining, it shows that you already master with what you are going to say about that slide. Okay, we go next. After you have done developing your slide, you need to critique the slide by yourself. Okay, you go back to your slide, okay, you try to look what works, what does not work, and how to you can improve. And also, if you have a buddy or a colleague, you can ask them to look on the slide on behalf of you. Because sometimes if we are the one who developed the slide, only we will understand well about what is stated in the slide. But in the perspective of the others, maybe we need to gain some of their angle or opinion in order to improve our slide presentation. So take time to give the slide to 2 or 3 of your friends for them to evaluate your slide. Okay. After we finish the preparing stage, okay, the 3-step number 3 is to practicing. Practice delivery the presentation. Okay. In practicing, we can overcome or we can gain the 3 keywords such as calm, confident, and in control. So feeling not calm or feeling nervous or anxiety, this can be happen because lack of experience, lack of preparation, or lack of enthusiasm. So all of this can be avoided if we have enough practice time. Okay, because sometimes there are some negative self-talk around us. Okay, when this happens, just focus on what are you going to deliver and focus on your goal and what you are going to say. All right, so don't worry, because if you are the postgraduate candidates, you are the one who have the originality of that right up. So you are the one who know better about your thesis compared to the panelists, and the presentation is a medium for you to give all of the information to the panelists verbally. Okay, so keep focus on your audience and make them comfortable and stick to the presentation. Okay. So in order to gaining confidence, be over prepared. Okay. Rehearse and practice. I also have a few of my postmaster students. I think about 20 of them. Okay. 4 of them graduated in a master. Another 4, I am the main supervisor. They have grade or complete their study for PhD, and I also be the supervisor. And what I always highlight to them before they deliver or before they go for the viva brochure, it at least to have 3 times of practicing their slide. Okay, this is very important to practice, because some of us already have a good slide, but when we not practice, we cannot have a real timing that we would like to deliver the slide. So know your subject, use relaxation techniques, okay? Have a deep breath, be positive, and avoid stressor. Avoid stressor means that we need to avoid any kind of conflict. Maybe if that morning we have a viva voce presentation, avoid to having any kind of conflict with our peer groups or our relative or our spouse or our partner. So this is very important because some people, they cannot manage that stressor, and it will create an impact during the deliverable of their presentation. So we also can practice in actual room to get the full simulation, or we can organize visual aid, media handout as our presentation buddy, and prepare for audience question. Okay, so becoming in control. Most people spend hours preparing a presentation, but very little time practicing it. So when you practice your presentation, you can reduce the number of time you use the word like well, and you know, okay? Because some of people, they have the tendency to have a very favorite words for themselves. So this habit can easily diminish a speaker credibility. So practice, practice, and practice. Only have a good presentation may not enough for you in order to make you can deliver your presentation, okay, successfully. So you can also fine tune your content to make sure you make your most important point in control with the time allotted. Okay, sometimes when we practice, we found that there are some important point to add in on the slide, and maybe some of the less important point then we can remove. So that's why by practicing the slide, it can help you much better in presenting your actual research during your viva voce presentation. Okay, this is the last time, the last stage for presenting. Okay, this is only to make it all out. All right, you have do anything, you just present it. Introduce on what you are going to tell them, why you are telling them, and what is important through your presentation delivery. Okay, delivering your presentation, it is also your physical appearance, okay, the words and term use, the voice intonation, pace and pause, and also the body language. And you need to remember that you are the most powerful visual aid compared to the other rest, all of you, because this is all under your control. All right, so you are the one, you are the okay, the most important asset, okay, the most important aids, okay, or tools in delivering the presentation. So now, delivering your presentation, it can based on speaking from memory. By the time we already have a good or enough practice, we can memorize on the how we can elaborate that important information. And also sometimes we can speaking from notes. Maybe some of the postgraduate student, they would like to have a clue card or notes by themselves. And also we can speaking from the text, okay? And speaking from the text, actually, it does not bring the meaning that in the whole of the presentation, you need to have a very long sentence. But by the time you do your practicing, you may find that at certain part, it's hard for you to remember. So at that slide, you can add on some of the information that can help you if you lose the word. So please ensure that not all slide, you put everything together, but some of the slide that you found it is hard for you to remember, you can put a bit a statement on that slide. So sometimes it is better for us to using the combination of both methods in delivering our presentation. All right, delivering your presentation. The success of your presentation will be judged not only by the knowledge to send, but what the listener receive based on what are you going to let them know. Okay, 20 ways to improve your presentation. Okay, now we are times now 5:28, so I need to make it quite fast. 20 ways to improve your presentation. Okay, we need to have enough practice. Okay, enough practice, at least 3 times of practicing. Nervous, we need to change the nervous into patient. Okay, attend other presentation. Okay, we need to go and have that kind of similar presentation of our colleague before we go for the real one to ourselves, and need to arrive early, make a strong start. Okay, actually, as for me, make a strong start. If you need to have a good network with the secretariat or the committee for the viva voce. As for me, what I've done for this presentation, actually, if you all need to know, just now I need to have a very good chemistry with the Mr. Moderator, right? And also with the MC and also a team that organizing this program before I can have more information about this program actually. So to meet and greet, okay, take a deep breath if you lose your word or feel so nervous, okay? Adjust the surrounding. What I put here, I cannot read here because it blocked me. Wait, what I put here, yeah? Okay, I missed 2 keywords just now. Okay, what is it? So I go to the previous slide. Sorry. Okay. Okay, turn yourself on. And audience are supportive. Okay, actually, most of the audience, they are all sympathy to us, especially not during the viva voce, but when you need to present your research in the seminar, right, or the conference, it is a compulsory for most of the postgrad student. It is a requirement. So actually, the audience is supportive. Most of them, they also have a similar kind of anxiety. Okay, I also would like to share during my presentation that I stated just now, the first presentation that I did in Singapore. Okay, I also do the practice before we enter the room. And at that time, I am the PhD student. And there are also a few of the presenter there. And when I ask them, one of the presenter is the lecturer, okay? So as for me, the lecturer also, they're also nervous by the time we go to the presentation, okay? Okay, so it is something that normal, okay? But it can be overcome based on the experience. To gain the experience, maybe it will take the time, but we can do the practice. For those who still don't have the first experience, second experience, we can practice. Okay, this is how we can reduce the level of our anxiety. I'm so okay. So what happened to this? Okay, so the next one, exercise to boost endorphin. Okay, have enough rest, exercise, and also I read that eating chocolate also can boost our endorphin. Okay, so you can try to use that tips and work on your pauses. Okay, sometimes by the time we deliver the presentation, we lose the word. Okay, it is okay. It is happened to all of us. It is also happened to the examiner themselves, the panel themselves. So it is normal. Just stay relaxed. Okay, just relax and try to gain back what are the information or the elaboration that you would like to explain to the panel. Okay, don't cover too much material. Again, I stated here, actively engage the audience. Okay, this is for the normal presentation, but actually, as for the during the viva voce, sometime, okay, the student, by the time they got the question from the panel, they just acting or respond like they just give getting the consent or the statement from the panel. They didn't answer the question. They just pretend that the panel is only give them a statement, even though the panel is asking them, but they still mute themselves there. Okay, so this is need to be careful. Okay, if you don't have the answer, you can answer it, that you will check. Okay, you will make the clarification and you need time. Okay, so join a club actually means that you need to go around most of the colleague that also have the similar goals with you. Okay, I found a few of my part-time student. For example, if they are foreigner, actually they may be not here in the faculty. They live somewhere else, but they didn't surround themselves with the environment of academic. Okay, maybe they come with the family, but they didn't have any friend that also with the same position like them. Okay, the research student, okay, the research candidates. So we need to always speak or surround ourselves with our friend that also have our targets in order to achieve or to go to the stage of viva voce. So admit you don't have all answer. Okay, don't use bombastic word and focus on material becomes okay. This one, do some homework. Okay, So it will make you be confident. Again, I put about calm, about confident, and fight the fear. Okay, the fear is there. Everybody will fear. Anxiety is normal. So try to make it better and be in control. And how we can be in control? By the time we do enough planning, enough preparation, and then we practice. And of course, you can deliver your presentation better than you expected. Okay, we go to the next one. Tips for viva voce presentation. Viva voce presentation is a verbal counterpart to your written thesis. So your thesis demonstrates your skill at presenting your research knowledge. So it is only the final stage, okay, that you need to go. And don't worry, because everything actually is right, okay, it's written by you. So don't worry, all of the statement is come from you. You know everything, maybe better than the panelists. Okay, maybe panelists just have their own assumption or their own opinion, but you need to get the valid statement to support your claim or your sentence in all of your research report research. Okay, so viva voce is just a stage for you to deliver all of your information or of your to deliver all of your knowledge that you already live day and night with your research. Okay, so don't worry, you just need enough preparation and also enough practice to make sure you can overcome all of this stage. And the candidate can do a great deal to influence the mood of the examination through dress, body language, and general behavior. Okay, this one also I would like to share with you. Okay, during my first year in lecturing or supervising, one of my students go to the proposal defense with the casual, okay, casual attire. So this is something that also made me need to warn all of my students, if you go for the viva voce or the viva, please make sure that your attire is appropriate with the occasion or the program. So the body language and also the general behavior. The candidate needs to understand that he or she is seeking the acceptance of the examiner. So don't argue too much, okay? Because sometimes when panel try to argue, if you got the answer, then you can answer it in the most appropriate way, in academic way. If you don't have the answer, please accept and please accept that, okay? And please reveal the real thing. Because examiners sometimes they know better than you, and sometimes they also just want to test you. Okay, the candidate needs to display their confidence without arrogance. It is extremely important that egos are not exposed. All right, most viva take the form of a genuine academic discussion. So understand on institution policies and practice related to viva voce, especially on the evaluation form. Okay, what are the verdict that will be there, either minor, major, redefend, or what kind of verdict that the panel can tick in the evaluation form. So reread your thesis and keep up to date with research. Okay, I know nowadays we are facing with the pandemic, and most of the issues of our research may not be so relevant after 2 or 3 years that we pause our study. So you need to make sure you need to read a lot, maybe based on the newspaper or based on the new release publication that relevant to our research. Okay, so you need to know your panels, okay, their full name, their full title, so you can give a good salutation to them, the right salutation, and also presentation preparation, the 4P just now: planning, preparing, practicing, and also presenting. All right, the don'ts in the viva voce presentation. Please don't underestimate, okay, your examiner or your panel, because they are the expert in your domain of study. Even though sometimes you can also claim that you are not okay. This is may only involve with your personal opinion, because sometimes the panel also, by the time they argue with your statement, they also didn't put anybody citation. Okay, but try to be prepared, because normally they will receive your thesis 2 to 3 months before, and they have go line by line to read your thesis. And also you need to know better than them, so the originality is come from you. All right, So what you need to do is just to convince them by providing a valid empirical support if there are any argument based on them. So no interaction with panel. Okay, this one, we need to avoid the Q&A session, just like I mentioned just now. If the panel asks you, you need to respond. So badly prepared slide, okay, need things to avoid. Okay, we can do this, you can send to your supervisor. Before you send to supervisor to check, you can give to the friend that also would in the similar stage as you. So your presentation no flow or no structure, presentation not focused or too long. So make sure to only have 20 to 30 slides for your viva presentation. Talking too fast or too soft. All right. So this is the things that you need to avoid. Okay, language problem. Do not answer like giving lecture. Okay, this is also happened to me. Some of the PhD candidates, especially when they are the academician or lecturer, they can talk very well, but actually they didn't answer the question. They just talking and talking, but they didn't answer the question which have been asked from the examiner. It is just like giving a lecture, because during the viva voce presentation, there is a precise question and a precise answer that we need to provide to the panelists. So do not respond negatively, like we try to blaming our data, to blame our supervisor, to blame our laptop, maybe. Okay. So this all make us that not professional in delivering our presentation. So next one, therefore, greet the panels, be nice during the whole presentation. Do not say, I don't know, okay? But you can say that I will check it later, I will get back and make clarification later. Okay, so it is okay for you to give a yes and no answer. However, please elaborate. If yes, why? You need to elaborate, and if no, you also need to elaborate why. Do not argue or too defensive, okay? Especially when you found that you have not have enough support, okay, for you, please do not argue, all right? Because the panelists actually have the power. Sometimes if they found that we already make a wrong statement, okay, a wrong statement. So by the time when we trying to be too defensive, okay, in strengthening that sentence, so it actually can show our, what we call it, our weakness. Okay, so do not argue if we don't have enough support for that. Okay, respond in academic way and be smooth to exhibit knowledge, okay, the fluent or the sequence of your presentation, and free to express view. Okay, a tips. In chapter 1, normally in chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, normally we need to provide all of the statement by support with the citation of the past researcher. But in chapter 4 and chapter 5, in chapter 4, right, we already have our findings or data. In chapter 5, normally this is the chapter that we can express our own view, because we already go through the process. And in chapter 5, we have the say to do, to suggest any kind of statement, because we already have go through the phase as a researcher. So accept criticism, act accordingly, okay? And also don't forget to thank the panel, the secretariat, the committee, okay, the chairperson. This is very important, okay? This is always I always remind my student to do. Okay. So remember, your attire impacted your presentation mood. Address the panel properly. Reply confidently and intelligently. Defend your work, but be agreeable if they have any argument towards your work. So if you found that you have not enough support, you just agree with your examiner. And then don't read your slide. Okay, this is very important. When you read your slide, it shows that you are not mastering what you are going to say. So you just put and highlight the most important key term, and by practicing and practice, it can make you can elaborate all of the single things in your slide very well. Okay, please believe me. Okay, you need to practice. Memorize important keywords and citation. Okay, this is again the clue. Okay, when you would like to provide the definitions of concept, maybe definitions of operational, please try to memorize that definition. and by quoting the name of the author, it will show that you master on the citation, even though actually you try very hard to memorize the important key term. Arrive early before the panels. Okay, this is compulsory for you. And let the panel finish their question before you respond to them. Some of the students, they just interrupt by the time the panel try to giving the response. I think that is the end of my slide. All right. So if you have any question, you can contact me maybe for further collaboration. If you would like to have to collaborate in writing a paper, okay, to collaborate in doing any kind of research, okay, you are feel free to contact me. I think that's all for today's presentation. Get back to you, Mr. Banu.
All right.
Am I
Thank you
on
very
time?
much. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I think if you figure out the good presentation, you just have it from the Dr. Umi Naima, I think. Okay. So we have several questions about the topic presentation skill, right? So first question is, what should we do when we feel blank and don't know what to do while the presentation? And should I read all the question or one by one, Dr. Umi?
It's okay. Okay, we go to the first question first. If we blank, okay, if you blank, we lost the word. Okay, that's why I think even though we are trying to practice very well, okay, 2-3 times to practice the slide, the presentation, but sometimes there will be challenge that we still lose the word. All right, for the PhD candidates or the presenter during the conference, I think it is better for us, the first and foremost, to keep calm. And please remember that the audience is supportive. They are all supportive. If there are some of the audience that is not in our feed, but there is only a small percentage, only 1 or 2%. So keep calm and try to get any clue cards. Okay, clue card with you. Maybe at the clue card, you can look back and you can remember what are the words that you would like to elaborate for your presentation. I think this is normal, but I think if we have enough preparation, we practice enough, okay, we can practice in front of our friend in delivering the presentation, the viva. We can also do the mock-up with our supervisor before the actual date of the viva workshop presentation. I think the issue of losing or blank can be minimized. Yeah, do you agree with me, Mr. Banu?
Yes, of course. I think it's normal to sometimes we blank while we do a presentation, right?
Yeah.
Even the professional and academic, I think sometimes they did to when they blank. I think it's very human.
When they blank.
I think,
so we are human. So just keep calm, because the audience also they will not think that it is not good, because they are also having this kind of situation sometime, right?
Yeah. I agree with you. I totally agree with you. Okay, next. For your information, for the participant who have the question, you can drop your question in the chat box link, or I think you can provide the question through the Dr. Umi. But we have 2 live question in my chat box. Yeah. Do you have do you have like advice to design the interesting PowerPoint? For example, do you have a good template or website to download the good PowerPoint, interesting PowerPoint? Do you have some?
Okay, at the moment, this maybe most of students already know about this, but lately I love to use the SlideGo. Okay, it is the PowerPoint template, the SlideGo. You can try to Google SlideGo. There will be a template that is free of charge, and there are also template that you need to pay. So at the moment, I would like to advise or suggest for you to look on the SlideGo. Okay, the PowerPoint presentation.
All
Okay,
right.
we also have Canva, right? Canva, but I go to the SlideGo I like SlideGo because it is easy for us to edit. Okay, we have Canva, right? But I prefer SlideGo. Maybe the student can try to look
Yeah,
at the
because
template.
because if we use Canva and we want to download, we have to buy, right?
Yeah.
Buy full the feature, the pro feature, right? Okay, the last one. Do we need using like a smart chart on the symbol at the PowerPoint, right? Smart chart like what is it? Chart flow, okay? Chart flow in our PowerPoint.
Okay. Okay. Me, I am from the social science. Okay. So most of the data, I think it is enough to be presented in the form of chart, bar chart, and also the schedule, the table. It is enough. But as for the engineering, maybe they need more support. But as for me, it is doesn't matter. It is just the matter to putting the information that we need to deliver in that slide. But normally in chapter 4, most of us will utilize the form of data in like bar chart, right? In the presentation slide. Okay, maybe for engineering student, I don't know about the data, the kind of data of them. But as for the social science, if you go for SlideGo, okay, each of the template, they already have the data that you just can insert that. Okay.
All right, thank you, Dr. Umi. And the participants, do you have a question? Okay, I think because your presentation is very, very clearly, and I think all the participants already understand what they should do on their
It is
presentation.
only
I
a
think.
light topic, right? Only the light topic. So I think just a leisure topic, maybe in the angle of me. So I would like to share about to be calm, to be confident, to be in control, and to use the 4P in preparing our presentation slide. I think that's all.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you. This is like topic, but it's very essential. But for implement all of your advice, I think it's not easy as we're talking about it, right? It was we need skills
Yeah, we
to
need schools
implement
to do. Yeah, because
your
not all
advice.
students are gifted and the skill is not inherited, right? Okay,
Yeah,
it
yeah,
is not inherited, so we can learn. And by the time we have enough practice, I believe that all of you will deliver a very successful presentation.
yeah. I mean, one question more from me, from the question from me. Uh, in a pandemic situation, usually we have a lecture in a Zoom meeting like this. Yeah, how to make the audience engage in like in your set in your first slide. I think if I'm not wrong, but how to engage the student follow our presentation from first until the end, because at the Zoom meeting like this we cannot we cannot see their face, right? What they're doing, what they're doing. Are they still
Are still there
listen?
online?
Yeah, are they still listen or on us, or they just sleep and they play the Zoom it, right? What should you with the condition like that? What to deal with the condition like that,
Okay,
Dr. Umi?
actually, if you ask me, it is something that out of our control, but it will be based on the lecturer themselves. Okay, as for me, normally I will not force my student to turn on the camera because they are mature enough for me. All right, either to okay, they are mature enough for me, even though they would like to turn on the camera or not. But I also sometimes I agree because if we turn on the camera, it will consume more data. So as long as they feel that it can be, they can penetrate all of the information without opening the what we call it camera, it doesn't matter. But there are some of my friends, they make it compulsory for all the students to turn on the camera. But as for me, no, I believe and I trust my student. depend on them. And normally there are some like of the technique or the aids that we can use like a Mentimeter, right? We do the Mentimeter, right? So we can have the interaction during the session. Okay, but it depends on the sometimes if you do on the class, and as for today, I think I just would like to deliver all of the information on this presentation slide. So I don't put the Mentimeter in, don't insert this, what we call it, the activity during our presentation. But it is so, most of the students also, most of them are the postgraduate students. So I think they are mature enough. And I believe to all of, I trust all of them, okay, to follow on the instruction. Yeah. Now, because Mr. Bano, sometimes when I give my lecture, there are some parts that the student, they can read by themselves, but some of part they cannot read and they cannot understand well through the slide presentation. They need to listen to the elaboration in order to let them can understand, because some of my slide I just put the important point. So if they be the passive in the class, it doesn't matter, all right, but they need to strive hard to got the elaboration for the slide that I share to my student. So they need to open the book. So as for me, it is better for us, we opening the book, and at the same time we got the elaboration from our teacher. I think that may be better. Okay.
Yeah, okay. Because in my experience, teaching like teach in a Zoom meeting, it's look like when the participant or the
talking to the wall.
Yeah,
it's like talking to the wall, talking to the screen.
I feel like already announcer than lecturer, I think. Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Umi. Do you want to add something?
I don't have anything else, so I just hope that all of the postgraduate students, I wish all the best of luck to your future undertaking, and you are going to have a very blessed year, but we still have about 20 years to fulfill our targeted KPI before we go to the 2020. We still have 20 years, because at the end of the year, most of us need to do the appraisal report, right? So we still have time to double our effort, okay, in order we can achieve what we have planned from the beginning of the year. I think that's all, and I would like to say a huge thank you to all ITS team and family. Okay, so actually this is maybe my fourth time to involve with ITS program. So hopefully in the near future, I will have the opportunity again to come to ITS and have any kind of program with all of you. All right. So hopefully we will have a very blessed year. Okay. I think that's all.
Okay. Thank you very much, Dr. Umi. So I hope we can meet together after the pandemic situation was better, right? It's going better. Right, in Surabaya, in offline mode, not in online mode like this, right? All right. So thank you very much, Dr. Rumi, for the great presentation. I think I will go back to give the mic to the Bu Dewi.
Oh,
thank you also, Miss Dewi, for accompanying us.
Thank you very much, Dr. Umi, and also Mr. Banu, for the great session. And for me, it was quite inspiring, because like for myself, sometimes I feel very nervous when I present something, especially if I didn't like learn it for, or perhaps train it for sometimes. Okay, now. Please give applause to our inspiring speaker and amazing moderator by using the Zoom action feature for today's empowering session. As a token of appreciation, I would like to present a certificate for our honorable speaker and moderator. So this is the certificate for for Dr. Umi Naimah Syarah as our gratitude for today's session. Thank you very much for your availability today in providing the lecture session on presentation skill.
Most welcome.
Thank you. And then for the next certificate will be presented for Mr. Banu Prasetyo MPhil for being our moderator today. Thank you very much, Mr. Banu, for your availability today and running the program quite smoothly.
Yeah, you're most welcome, Bu Dewi. Thank you.
Thank you. Now, before we part, I would like to inform you that we still have future agenda on R2SEP for architecture, urban planning, design, and social sciences stream, which will be conducted on 23rd December 2021 with the speaker Mr. Romualdo Mabuan from Far Eastern University, Philippines. Now you can see the poster we are showing right now, and you can check on it as well in the ITS Global Engagement website. Before we end today's session, I would like to invite all participants and also speaker and also moderator to open their camera to take a group photo. Come on guys, don't be shy. Show me your best smile. Well, I don't think that they okay, cool. So I will wait for you guys to open the camera. I think I'm not sure whether we have student or perhaps robot or perhaps
perhaps artificial intelligence, right?
perhaps it was possessed by alien or something like that. Well, we don't know. So okay, I will please open your camera. Please open your camera. Okay, now. Okay, so I will make a countdown and please be ready. Put your best smile and I will take the picture. Okay. Smile. 1, 2, 3, smile. Okay, cool. And then for the next slide, we only have 2 slides today. Please wait for a second. Well, this, okay. 1, 2, 3. Cheers. Thank you very much. Okay, so thank you very much for today's, especially for the picture as well. We have finished the picture, the group photo. I would like to remind all participants to fill the feedback forms. I forgot to put it, sorry. Please bear with me for a second. Okay, I think. Now I have it here. Okay, so please fill the feedback form. Okay, so I would like to remind all participants to fill the feedback form provided in the Zoom chat. The participant who will get stamp for it, it is the participant who comes on time during this event until the end and also fill the feedback form. Finally, we have reached the end of today's R2SEP and we sincerely apologize for any inconvenience during the session from me as the Master of Ceremony and from the committee as well. We will see you again the upcoming session. Once again, thank you everyone for joining the session. Thank you the speaker, Dr. Umi Naimah Syarah, and also the moderator, Pak Banu Prasetyo MPhil, for the inspiring session. Good evening, stay safe, stay healthy, and bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you, Dr. Umi. Thank you, Bu Yasinta. Thank you, Bu
Thank
Dewi.
you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you,
Thank you.
everyone.
Okay, stay safe and healthy. See you again.
See you again. Bye-bye.